stay upbeat about everything and ride a bike around here and there. And sometimes I end up racing the street sweeper down the road here on the sidewalk and have a little fun with that.
If racetracks were to open soon, how would you feel if they had no fans in the stands?
It'd be tough. If it was like a semi-permanent thing or the rest of the season, then it would be a little, mentally, that's what we do it. We do it for fans. We do it for little kids, and you're putting on a show and you're having a good time. And I mean, I guess we race go-karts or RC cars in our backyard. We have a grand old time without any fans, but I think at a racetrack, that's a big part of why we do what we do. And without fans, obviously the pay is going to be a little different, which would be unfortunate. And I just think all around that, granted, I think if like Fonda was already set up for the the Dirt Vision type deal there with broadcast the race on the TV as it is. So hopefully we can get through with like some of that maybe for a little while. Hopefully it's not a very long thing, but maybe short term to kind of get it started and get things going.
Yeah, I hope I'm hoping the same thing. I hope we can get maybe a couple of us out in the stand. Maybe I would like to see maybe like 250 people in the stands, and they can like spread us apart and all that. Would be probably ideal.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think like if you charge a little bit more for the pay-per-view and people kind of looked at, hey, this is what they need to have for an income. Don't invite 30 of your buddies over to watch the race and just kind of do it like you, your dad, your mom, and your brother, whatever. You guys rent the race for $35, and that's what you guys do. Essentially kind of simulate you being at the track as it is, because it's $10 to get in. Two of you, there's $20, and simulate $10 in hot dogs and $5 for the video guy. Kind of the same deal, I guess, or similar. Maybe make everybody get the world flowing. I think that's what I can do to start, and hopefully, like I said, we can show we can do it, and everything doesn't spread with the COVID deal, and get things rocking and rolling.
Yeah. How did your racing career start? And at what age?
And my dad bought me. What's that?
And what age?
I was 15. My dad bought me an enduro car. It was an old I-1 Earl McSpirit Nova. A guy had it, and he bought it kind of cheap. We ended up buying. I ran stock pickup truck motors for probably the first 3 to 5 years, I'd say. We ran pickup truck motors. It seemed like once a week we'd blow it up, run too much gear. Had to go find another junk truck. Back in the day, 20 years ago, Chevy 350s were a dime a dozen. You could get them on an old Chevy pickup truck or Monte Carlos or whatever, and run them. That's what we ran for the longest time. I really, a lot of people don't remember, but I used to go pretty slow when I first started. Everybody thinks you just come out of the womb and you're natural, and some people are, obviously, like Stewie. I think Stewie's pretty natural, but it's just one of those deals where we started out slow and at a young age, like an enduro class. There was so many enduro cars, they transferred it to the street stock class, and here we are now.
Yeah, it's a good. So it's kind of like you raced at like a car that was only going like a street car would go for beginning.
Yeah, for the most part, it was a Nova, like it was a street stock. It was kind of. I drove it slower. I was 15, so I didn't even really have any road experience. I didn't go fast on the road or anything. I went pretty slow for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Not many people, like I said, don't remember it, so if I tell them, they're like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. But I used to go 2 laps down on a 10-lap race. And, people don't want to believe it, but I did. That's why I tried telling my kid I took it slow, and it took me a lot of years to get used to it. I think it was about 5 years in before I got my first win, maybe. So it took me quite a while.
What's the best part of racing at Fonda?
Well, there's a lot of best parts about racing at Fonda. I think Fonda's probably one of the most prestigious tracks around. As far as longevity and the
history,
whole feeling of racing at Fonda, the respect and the history that's there. You know what I mean? The guys that have gone through there. Jack, CD, Dave Late, Lazaro. Them guys like set a benchmark for us. And now you got Stewie coming along and doing the thing he's doing with NASCAR, and making Fonda, just keeping Fonda right there. The pinnacle of racing, pretty much. So,
and yourself.
It has a lot of rich history, you know what I mean? So, and plus it's down the road.
Yeah.
I could literally ride my bicycle to the track if I wanted to, So, it's a lot of, it's close to home. It's where my hometown fan base is, between Fonda and Glen Ridge. So just kind of cool to be that close to home, be able to race down the hill.
Mm-hmm. And like I was thinking about it, like Richard Petty, now those guys have raced there before, back in like the 50s. A lot of them NASCAR, like the older NASCAR drivers used to race there as well. I was just thinking about that with the history and legacy of Fonda. I understand why it means a lot to you.
Yeah, 100%. You know, like you said, Richard Petty, Chachamo down here with the drag strip, and it's endless. You know what I mean? The guys have been there and raced there and won races there. And some of the good guys that come and can't win races there. You know, kind of tells you a little something about the place.
Yeah. What's the best part of being a driver, all in general?
There's a lot of best parts. You know what I mean? You feel like you're on Saturday nights. You kind of feel like you're on top of the world. You know what I mean? It's, you know, everybody's watching you and paying attention, and it's kind of there's a lot of cool parts for me. You know, that's kind of all I really do is drive race cars. So it's there's a lot of it for me. But you know, most guys is just on that Saturday night we strap in, it's like the rest of the world is lost. No matter what else is going on outside, you don't think about anything but driving that race car. And, there's not a whole lot of things in life you can do that you get that feeling out of, you know.
That's pretty cool. What is your favorite track and why?
Favorite track, I tell you, I got quite a few of them, honestly. It's hard to pick one. I probably got 5 that rank up there, but I would probably say, hard to say because of watching races, but Syracuse was probably one of my favorite. I think that was because we had a lot of success up there. We won like 4 races out of the 7 times we entered the features, you know what I mean? So Syracuse, I wish I had a chance to run a modified on. That's one of them. Brewerton and Fulton out west are one of them. Utica, Rome, Glen Ridge, Fonda, obviously, and then Albany, Saratoga, are probably my favorite. I know my least favorite ones, but those are definitely my favorite ones.
Yeah, it's okay. So you ran so how many times you won 4 races at Syracuse?
Yeah, 4 at the mile. Well, we won. We were first on the line 3 of them. In the 4th one, we were second to the guy that was cheating, so he had an illegal motor.
Yeah.
And that was the last one. So that was 2015. That was the finale at the mile. We won our sports and racing.
What was it like? What is it like racing at the mile when it was open? What was it like to race there?
Oh, it's a feeling you don't get anywhere else. I always say Glen Ridge is one of the most up on the wheel tracks. Like pound for pound, Glen Ridge is one of the best. But when you go to Syracuse and you're going wide open as fast as you can, carrying it all into a corner, there's not a whole lot of different feelings like it. I think you'll get that from anybody that's been there and raced it. Even if they weren't successful, it's still like the feeling coming out of turn 3 and you're doing 100 plus miles an hour and it starts narrowing up like you're driving to a tunnel. It's a really cool feeling.